Hey, mathematicians, welcome back. And guess what? Still enjoying my hot chocolate. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to graph the same function as we did last time, but we're going to use a more efficient strategy. This strategy is going to let us build our table of values much more efficiently with a lot less calculating. And what we're going to do for this is we're going to use the fact that this equation, f of x is equal to 1/3 of an x minus 1, is written in slope-intercept form, to use the y-intercept and the slope to help us do this efficiently. So first I'm going to decode my equation, my function, using this pattern. I know from looking at this that my slope is equal to 1/3. It's the number being multiplied by x. And my y-intercept is -1 because it's the number being added. So I know that one point on my line will be 0, -1. So I'm going to start building my table of values. And I always start my table of values with what I call an anchor point. It's my starting point. And for this, it's my y-intercept. I get it for free. I'm going to put it in the middle of the table. Now, instead of calculating more input outputs, I'm going to use my slope to create these new values. Let's decipher the slope a little bit further. Slope is change in y over change in x. So for this example, I'm going to bring it down here where I have more room. Change in y is equal to 1, and change in x is equal to 3. I've just decoded that slope. So I can now use this to get more values. So if I increase my y by 1, I have to increase my x by 3. Let's do it again. If I increase my x by 3, I need to increase my y by 1. Do you see what I'm doing? So I'm using this idea of the change to start at a point, change in y, 1, change in x, 3. Change in y, 1, change in x, 3. Now the interesting thing is, to get a positive slope, my change in y and change in x have to both be positive, or my change in y and change in x can both be negative. So another way to think about this is my change in y is -1, and my change in x is -3. So I'm now going to go the other way in the table. Starting with my anchor point again, my change in y is I want to subtract 1. That will take me back to 0. So I have to subtract 3 to get me back to -3. Subtract 1, subtract 3. Once you get into this pattern, you can generate your table of values really quickly. So let's plot these points. I'm going to start again with my anchor point, 0, 1, and then I had 3, 2, 6, 2, -3, -1, -6. Oh, excuse me. Hope you caught that. -3, 0, -6, -1. Got those points so quickly. Get your ruler. I mean it. Get your ruler. Put your ruler down. Remember, I can't really do it on my iPad. Get your ruler down and extend your line throughout the entire coordinate plane. Okay, let's take this one more step more efficiently. Could we do it without having a table of values? I recommend totally use your table of values till you feel comfortable with it. But then the next step, to be the most efficient, I'm going to scroll down and we're going to do it one more time, is we're going to first again decode it. Y equals mx plus b. Nothing new here, right? Our y-intercept is 0, -1, and our slope is 1/3. Again, that tells us change in y is 1, change in x is 3. So on the graph, let's just go right to the graph. I'm going to start by plotting my anchor point, which was my y-intercept. I just call it an anchor point. I don't know, because it's where I'm starting. Let's use our slope now. Change in y is +1, so I'm going to go up 1. Change in x is 3, so I'm going to go to the right 3. There's a point. I'm going to start now from this new point. I'm going to go up 1, my change in y, to the right 3, my change in x. Up 1, right 3, and there's a point. Remember, to get a positive slope, I could have decoded my change in y and change in x to be, I'm going to say this is a big or, change in y equals -1, and change in x equals -3. I'm going to change to a different color for these. I'm going to go back to my original anchor point, my y-intercept. If my change in y is -1, I'm going to go down 1, and to the left, -3. There's a point. Down 1, left 3. Down 1, left 3. So quickly get those points. Pull out your ruler. I mean it. Use your ruler. Pop it down and extend that line. That was a good one. Through all of those points. This is really the most efficient way to graph a line, but don't go here until you feel comfortable. You know you can do your table of values. Can you generate your table of values using your anchor point, your y-intercept, and your slope? Once you feel good with that, then come and try this most efficient way. All right, mathematicians, have fun. Be as efficient and accurate as you can be. And please, please, please ask me questions if you want to talk about it some more. Okay, see you soon.